Hello everyone. I want to introduce myself. My name is Vicki, and this is my Creative Corner 3. The 3 is because a long time ago, when I started blogging, my Creative Corner 1, and my Creative Corner 2 were taken. I still have the blog, which is mycreativecorner3.com if you want to read my weekly posts. And I do a podcast. And on the podcast this week, which will be on YouTube in an audio form, I wrote up the goals I have for 2023. 23 things in 23. If you want to hear about the whole thing in detail, you can check the video out. And if you want to listen on any podcast podcast platform that you listen to, you can hear it later when it comes up. But you saw the intro, right? The big long-term project I have for 2023 is this space, where my Creative Corner 3 happens. And last year, 2022, I really wanted to start on it, but I got COVID in the summer. Well, no, in the spring, in May. I got it again in July. And then by September, the doctor's like, yeah, you have long COVID. Long COVID robbed me of my imagination for a long time. It's starting to come back. Yeah, the mind's eye. You know that thing where you can just close your eyes and picture something? Yeah, it was gone. It's starting to come back a little bit at a time. And I thought, and while I'm healing and doing rehab in my own, because there really is no rehab center here or any rehab program to follow except exercise to build up strength and your lungs and heart. I'm doing puzzles every day, like Wordle, for the brain fog or cognitive problems that come. I'm still working full time, and I'm doing smell training as well as trying to exercise 10 minutes a day. And I'm up to doing more than that some days. And some days is just terrible. The fatigue, the exhaustion, and all of it comes back, which happened to me last week. So that is kind of what happened to me in 2020 that led up to this room being such a mess, and not a lot of creating was happening here. I'm going to be honest, I've never sewn in this room, and I decided that was going to change. I want my dining room table not to be my sewing table anymore, to clean that up so that we can have meals there if we want. We kind of eat in front of the TV, my husband and I. And we also, I don't know, I just want to have more outer order, inner peace, as Gretchen Rubin says. I'm a big fan of Gretchen Rubin, and she has a book called The Happiness Project that came out, I think in 2013 is when I read it. So 10 years I read it, and I've been following her principles, as well as The Fly Lady, which I follow Diane in Denmark on YouTube if you want to check her out. Because these things help me have routines, and I don't have to think too much about how I'm going to do the day. And I want to get those routines back established. But another YouTuber I follow is Karen Brown of Just Get It Done Quilts. And she has the Great January for 3 years now, decluttering and cleaning challenge of your sewing space. So you can see behind me, I started a quilt coat. I cut up an old quilt I did in the 90s. We'll do an episode about that. You can see over my shoulder is the Social Lights quilt along that I'm working on, and I have one black for this week to do. I am at my sewing table, which is looking outside in the window. But I don't like the table it's currently on. It bounces. It's probably a card table, but I've ordered a new sewing table, And all around me now, this was so much worse. I am 1 week into Karen's Just Get It Done Quilts daily prompt. She has a 21-day decluttering challenge. I decided, since I'm healing, and this is part of my healing, to get this place cleaned up, this room, as a place for creating again, instead of the dumping ground it became. That is my long-term project on my goals of the 23 things in 23, which is also a Gretchen Rubin idea. And I thought number 1 on here is to reestablish my routines. Number 2 is part of my self-care is getting outside every day, which is a Gretchen Rubin idea of 23 minutes in 2023. I'm not going to make 23 minutes every day. I live on the 45th parallel. Sometimes it's below zero and cold, but I just want to get outside every day. And then the long-term project is the deep clean and decluttering of this space. So a lot has happened in a week. We've decluttered the books. We've started going through the patterns. I have. And I have also picked up the garbage, and I've looked at what is in this room that doesn't belong here. And I've gotten pretty far. But as I'm going through this, I'm reminded consumerism is really a massive thing in craft and creating. The fear of missing out. If you don't buy it when you see it, it'll never be here again. As I'm going through the bins, and I had many, many bins, the thing is, this isn't all my stuff. I inherited my dear friend's stuff when she passed. And my dear friend had inherited her dear friend's stash when she died unexpectedly. And as I'm going through these 2 women's stashes, and believe me, I have given away some things over the years, lots and lots of things from the stash. We had a agreement where things could go, where they wouldn't go. It was a big responsibility. And now I'm left with the deep going through the scraps and patterns, the box of scissors that my friend had. Oh my gosh, there's so many pairs of scissors and rotary cutters. So the things that can be donated are going to be donated. The things that can be rehomed are being rehomed. And 1 week into it, I can breathe. I am sitting at my sewing machine is right in front of me, and I am so excited about that. I have my current UFO I'm working on, and I have it in a bin here. So my goal is that all the things that don't belong here or I'm not currently working on are going in a storage space in my house, which is an enclosed front porch. It's got a heating vent and a cooling vent, but it's always too hot or too cold. So it's perfect for storage. I've been able to get rid of a few large things that were out there, and now I'm going to take the whole year to dig through, to go ahead and look at the fabric, what's left, and go, am I really going to use this or not? Can I donate this? Do I have a person that could use it? Lots of places. I wish I had a thrift store for just craft products. And I put my Cricut in a different room, and it's going to have all its accessories there. And then all of this is snowballing into ideas. So the great thing is, as you have ideas, you write them down in your journal, and I am. And so this has led to lots of ideas that is going to lead to part of my getting better is freshening up this home, doing a deep spring cleaning, and I want to have a coffee station. So currently all my houseplants are on the spot of where I could have my coffee station in my kitchen. The houseplants are going to move into another room where my Cricut is, and the front porch is going to be storage and archives for all of the sentimental things that I need to go through. We aren't talking closets yet. I've already got so much going on, but this is where I'm at. I thought I'd show you 1 week into it, and you can still sign up. You can still go to Karen's Just Get It Done Quilts blog, and I'll link that in the description below, because she is doing daily prompts, and she does a video every day. She has a playlist on YouTube, and believe me, she has done this before. She's done many organizing and cleaning up things, and she has a good process. You can't race off too far ahead. And the biggest key I found is after the first day, I did hours to try to catch up because I was a little bit behind. And I paid for it the next few days of being very tired and only able to go through a couple of things. And I think if you can set a goal of being a Fly Lady rule of little bit every day, 10 to 15 minutes or 15 to 30 minutes, you set a time that you can do and do it. And I'm finding chipping away at something a little at a time has been incredibly helpful. So as you can tell, I am a creative person that does a lot of quilting, but I have a Cricut machine and I do a lot of things outside of quilting that I talk about on this channel from time to time. I also do other crafts, and I like to talk about my garden in the summer because we only have a short growing season here. I am in zone 4B. And my fairy garden, sometimes I will put videos up of the nature, and that's part of going into my goals for this year of being outside every day. Feeding the birds has been a wonderful pastime, and fattening my squirrels up. So overall, this year's goals for this channel is to post something weekly, whether it is my audio podcast and a video, and probably videos on here I want to do weekly, but I'm going to be realistic. Let's start with something posted on this every week. But we also have shorts, and if you want to follow me also on Instagram, I'm Vicki L. Holloway Quilting, and I do Reels and TikTok also if you'd like to just kind of see some of the things that I'm experiencing and do the short form videos there. My audio podcast is My Creative Corner 3, and it's a long form podcast where I'm going to really talk about all 23 plus bonuses, the things that I want to do, things I want to make. And I have really been excited since I started to feel more myself after being diagnosed with long COVID and really struggling for at least 6 months of last year. So we're going to take it slow here, but maybe in another week we can do an update, and I hope to have this room in good working order within a month, but it's going to take me months to get all of these bins sorted and all of the things on top of my storage units to be gone through, and I have a lot of little totes next to me that are shoebox size with projects, current projects, old projects, and just kind of really go through what am I really going to finish. But lots of quilt tops to long arm, and I'm hoping to do some of that this year too. So I have lots of ideas for 2023, and I thought I would kick it off with a welcome to my mess, and it's being cleaned up. And creative people make creative messes, right? And it's not always going to look like a studio shoot in here, but it got way out of hand. So I'm shooting for some outer order, inner calm, kind of tell you how I got to this space with inheriting a couple of friends' stashes, and then how I really was sick. And now that I'm feeling better, I'm starting to feel more creative, and hopefully getting this tidied up, cleaned. I want to wash all the curtains and do all of the windows to get them clean and not let all the natural light in that we can. We don't get a lot up here this time of year. And to be back to making things, sharing ideas, and just being able to take you on the journey with me. So welcome to my Creative Corner 3. Welcome to my space, and hopefully it will be something that will be very inspiring for me as the year goes by, and I'll have lots of things to share with you. I'm going to move the camera just a little bit. You can see I have 9 blocks on social lights finished, and the 10th is coming this week, which is a Lori Holt block called Flourish. Those are all free on Fat Quarter Shop, and if you want to see detailed tutorials on how to make them, Kimberly Jolly does a great job on her channel. The other thing that I expect to be sharing in this year is I bought Lori Holt's book, Scrappiness is Happiness. And there's so many great scrap quilts in there. And that's what I wanted to use to help me bust this stash and be able to be down to just having material in this room for any project. That is what I need now, with a little bit of scraps, because you always have a little bit of that, but not this too much. It's too much, and it becomes too much of a problem. I only want to buy and purchase things I'm actually going to use, and believe me, I'm going to work real hard not to put good fabric, good yarn, good things in the landfill. It's going to go to donations and to people that I know who love to craft and create. Like my sister is going to take all my yarn scraps, and my mom is going to take a lot of the patterns and fabrics, and I have another friend who's doing donation quilts. So just want you to know, but we all have to start somewhere, right? Otherwise it becomes extremely overwhelming. So that is my journey here, is to find inner calm and peace through crafting and creating. So have a great week, and maybe you can come up with 23 things for your goals for 2023. I'll show this to you. If you want to freeze frame, you can read them all. And I'll talk more about these on the podcast this week. Have a most wonderful week, and I hope that if you're doing a January declutter and cleanup like I am and most of my friends are doing, that you will also find that it brings you a lot of inspiration. So take care, have a most wonderful week, and I hope that you take time to not only work on decluttering and cleaning up, but to create and to find joy through making. Have a wonderful week.